Welcome to MathClicks.com, properties of real numbers. So, everything has properties. Like tires have high friction so we don't skid all over the road. And hammers are hard and can nail nails in. Well, numbers can do things inherently that we call the properties. And they're all real numbers, so yeah, okay. So, the first one is the commutative properties of addition and multiplication. Commuting, moving from one spot to another with no problems. For example, A plus B equals B plus A. The A just commuted to the other side of the B with no issues. Also, A times B equals B times A. Easy example. 1 plus 2 equals 3, which is 2 plus 1 equals 3. Easy. 2, there it is, times 1 equals 2. The same as 1 times 2. We'll just pretend I wrote it out. Now, don't be fooled. It doesn't work for subtraction, which is why I like to say there is no such thing as subtraction, only addition of negatives. If you consider it an addition of a negative, then it works. For example, 2 minus 3 equals negative 1, but 3 minus 2 equals 1, correct? But if you consider subtraction does not really exist, you can rewrite this as 2 plus negative 3 equals negative 1. And then you can use the commutative property of addition. Negative 3 plus 2 equals negative 1. It's there, trust me. The next one is the associative properties of addition and multiplication. So, I've got A plus B plus C. And of course it equals A plus B plus C. Now, we associate all of these in a different way. We can either look at the A and the B first, or we can look at the B and the C, but it really doesn't matter. You remember that old PEMDAS? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and addition and subtraction. There we go. Well, the parentheses you want to do first, but it doesn't really matter if the parentheses are here or here. Same thing with multiplication. Multiply the A and the B together and then multiply by the C. It doesn't really matter. If you want to multiply the B and the C first and then the A, you can switch it around. In fact, you can move this A over here. Oh my goodness, the laws of gravity and the universe are colliding. Not really, because these are inherent properties and are allowed. The next is the additive identity property. This one seems like a no-brainer, but sometimes you gotta remember it in creative ways. It gets complex, but it's pretty much anything plus 0 equals anything. Yep, that's it. We call it the identity property because it is itself. It is its own identity. It doesn't need changed. Now, the additive inverse property. I'm going to write this one down. Inverse. That is to say, a negative a plus a positive a equals 0 all day long. And you can switch that around too with the commutative property of addition. A plus a negative a equals 0. It's called the inverse because it's been twisted around. And whatever you do this way, you do the exact opposite and you get back to nothing. Yeah, you did nothing. You know, negative a plus a, you did nothing. That's why it's all 0, nothing. The next property is the multiplicative, that's another big word. An ugly word too. Multiplicative identity property. That's pretty much the same thing. A times 1. I did nothing. So it's still itself. Equals A. And then there's the multiplicative inverse property. And that's the same as, negative a plus a equals 0. You did nothing. Well, if I multiply this a by 1 over a, well, it's going to equal 1. Now, of course, the addition 1 went to 0 and it did nothing, but there's not quite the same thing. I guess you could compare it to 2 times 0 equals 0. You have it 0 times, so there's nothing there. But mathematicians said the important thing is the inverse. That's doing the opposite. You have an a you added, and then you subtracted it. Oh, no. Added a negative a. You did the exact opposite. You added an a, because there's an invisible plus there, and then you added a negative a. You did the opposite. So the multiplicative inverse is, if I multiply this a by 1, right? And then I multiply that by a 1 divided by a, well, these 1's cancel out. And the a's scoot in together. And equals 1. You did the inverse. You multiply, then you divide. You divide, and you multiply. You can swap that around too. And the last, and my favorite all-time property, the distributive property. We had this A we needed to pass out among all the B's and the C's, and we said, 1 for you, 1 for you. We distributed it out like a bread line, but A's instead of bread. And that's it for the properties of real numbers. Thanks, and have a great day.